Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah and Julie Chrisley push Todd out of the spotlight. Todd Chrisley, the patriarch of the highly successful reality Chrisley family, loves the spotlight. He's not afraid to get in front of a camera, both for film and social media. In addition to sharing their lives on television, he and his wife Julie Chrisley also have a podcast. Here they share more of their lives, some behind the scenes, and a lot of their faith with listeners. Their children Savannah and Chase Chrisley often come on to be guest hosts as well. The children have grown up with the world watching, so it's nothing new to them. Still, sometimes Todd can get pushed out of the limelight with so many stars in his family. That's exactly what happened in the latest picture shared on Instagram. How did Savannah and Julie Chrisley push Todd out? Todd Chrisley is surrounded by beautiful women. Savannah Chrisley knows how to take a good selfie. Her Instagram is full of them, and she often takes pictures with her parents. This latest picture showcased her fashion sense and gorgeous makeup. She wore a blue and pink blouse with a tie at the neck. Todd posted the picture on his Instagram. In the snap below, Savannah is taking a selfie and Julie Chrisley manages to get her whole pretty face in. Todd, on the other hand, only gets half his face into the picture. He captioned the picture, "It's hard trying to get in a photo with this beauty at Savannah Chrisley, and then even harder with my beauty at Juliette Chrisley." Savannah is the one taking the photo, and she's closest to the camera. It's possible she was just trying to take a picture of herself. Fans agreed with the reality investor. Todd and Julie Chrisley's fans agree the couple has great-looking children. One commented, "No one is looking at you with all these gorgeous women around." A second fan said, "Thank you for brightening our days with your show." Another said, "She is a beauty. Loved your live video the other night. I cried during the whole thing." They were referencing the video Todd made the other night angry with the media, using a tragedy for views. His daughter's ex-fiancé Nick Curdiles recently went through a hard time, and Todd showed his full support. Nanny Faye can be seen in the very corner of the photo. Some fans were quick to call out Todd for not including his mother. One said, "Don't leave out everyone's favorite Nanny Faye." Another said, "Oh, I see Mama in the back too." In a stunning and emotionally charged development that has sent shockwaves through the world of reality television, new reports and revelations suggest a dramatic shift in the Chrisley family dynamic. Savannah and Julie Chrisley are actively, and successfully, pushing patriarch Todd Chrisley out of the spotlight. This isn't a simple case of a new show or a different narrative. It's a profound, almost desperate restructuring of the family brand, driven by the trauma of their recent legal battles and prison sentences. The once inseparable, flamboyant, and commanding king of the South, Todd Chrisley, is finding his role dramatically reduced, with his wife, Julie, and daughter, Savannah, emerging as the central, controlling forces of the family's public narrative. The very survival of the Chrisley name in the public eye appears to hinge on this shocking, necessary recalibration, leaving many to wonder, is this a cold-blooded business decision or a necessary evolution of a family shattered by scandal? The unthinkable shift from patriarch to peripheral figure. For over a decade, the Chrisley brand, immortalized in Chrisley Knows Best, was synonymous with Todd. His extravagant lifestyle, his micromanaging parental style, and his quick-witted, often savage one-liners were the gravitational center of the entire franchise. Julie was the calming anchor, and Savannah was the ambitious, glamorous inheritor of his drive. But the crushing weight of their conviction for bank fraud and tax evasion, and the subsequent prison time, has utterly dismantled this hierarchy. The most critical factor in this paradigm shift is the family's post-pardon public strategy. Following their release from federal prison, thanks to a pardon from President Donald Trump, the family's media engagement has been meticulously orchestrated, and Todd's presence, while central to the story, is no longer central to the telling of the story. Studio microphone, the Savannah strategy. Weaponizing vulnerability. Savannah Chrisley, who fiercely fought for her parents' release, took on the burden of becoming the guardian of her younger siblings and the public face of the Chrisley plight. Her popular podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, served as the primary and often only conduit for communication with her parents during their incarceration. Controlling the narrative. Upon their release, the first major joint interviews were strategically launched through Savannah's podcast. It was Savannah asking the tough questions of her parents, a role reversal where the daughter held the power and steered the dialogue. This position allows Savannah to filter the narrative, ensuring emotional vulnerability and controlled messaging, which resonates far more authentically with a post-scandal audience than Todd's former brash persona. The emotional disconnect revelation. In one particularly shocking episode, Savannah confronted both parents, admitting she felt a disconnect from them. This was an extraordinarily powerful, engaging moment of public honesty. It immediately humanized Savannah, who had been a rock for the family, and positioned her as a survivor of the consequences of her parents' actions, not merely an accomplice to their fame. Todd, who once controlled every interaction, could only respond with humble agreement, acknowledging the trauma his daughter endured. This single exchange was a symbolic passing of the torch. Crown Julie's quiet authority, the voice of resilience. Julie Chrisley, always the less flamboyant of the two, has also stepped into a new, more powerful light. Her focus is less on defending the past and more on embracing the future and the present reality. Shutting down gossip. When rumors of a post-prison divorce surfaced, it was Julie who insisted on setting the record straight, directly stating, "We are not getting divorced." Her calm, grounded assurance was a stark contrast to the dramatic, defensive tone Todd often employed. Focus on the future. The family's new docuseries, The Chrisleys, Back to Reality, is framed to show their raw and unfiltered journey. While Todd has spoken about corruption and vindication, the snippets and interviews featuring Julie focus more on the lessons learned, the strength of the family unit, and the necessity of the experience for growth. She embodies the resilience narrative that the public craves, while Todd's continued insistence on his complete innocence and conspiracy theories can sometimes sound defensive and grating to an audience looking for accountability. Todd's dilemma, the unsalvageable brand of the past. Todd Chrisley's former brand was built on excess, control, and a self-proclaimed infallibility. These traits, while entertaining in the pre-conviction era, are now a liability. The problem of perception. The new, post-pardon Chrisley brand needs to be one of humility and spiritual awakening, a journey of redemption that speaks to their faith, which they frequently cite. When confronted with rumors that he was now broke post-prison, Todd's reaction was a flash of his old, defensive bombast. "Where would they get that? Do you know how much is in my bank account?" While he was refuting a false rumor, the reaction was more about defending his financial status than embracing a new, simpler life, undermining the lessons learned narrative. The vengeful narrative. Todd's repeated assertions that he and Julie were victims of corruption within the Department of Justice are a difficult pill for the public to swallow. While he is fighting for his version of justice, this focus on the perceived enemies often detracts from the family's powerful, human story of surviving incarceration. A family divided by trauma. Todd's relationship with his children, particularly his adult children, has been fraught with public, damaging arguments, especially with his older daughter, Lindsay. While Savannah has spoken about Lindsay's alleged betrayal, it's Todd's history of control over his children's lives that is often cited as the root of the family fractures. Savannah and Julie, by taking control, are demonstrating a unified, forward-looking front that is simply more palatable and easier for an audience to support. Fire the high-engagement fallout, business versus blood. The decision to elevate Savannah and Julie is fundamentally a high-stakes business maneuver designed to maximize audience engagement and secure the family's financial future. The market demands a change. The reality TV landscape has changed dramatically since Chrisley Knows Best first aired. Audiences are now more sophisticated and, especially with families involved in major financial scandal, they demand a storyline rooted in reality, vulnerability, and genuine growth. Savannah as the relatable survivor. Savannah, as a young woman who had to put her own life and career on hold to fight for her parents and raise her siblings, is an instantly relatable, sympathetic figure. She is the hero of the new Chrisley story. Her vulnerability, her tears, her frustration, her confusion, is the raw, unscripted emotion that drives engagement. Julie as the grounded matriarch. Julie's quiet strength and her focus on the family's emotional reunification serve as the emotional core. She represents the stability and unconditional love that kept the unit intact during the darkest times. Todd as the reformed teacher. Todd's best new role is that of a cautionary tale and a mentor. His recent, compassionate communication with other stars facing prison, offering advice and support, is a far more endearing and positive look than the bombastic persona of the past. His willingness to offer 1,000 tips to others in similar legal trouble positions him as a figure of experience, not just a figure of controversy. The new show's implicit message. The very title of their new venture, The Chrisleys, Back to Reality, implies a departure from the Chrisley Knows Best fantasy. The show is meant to peel back the layers and show the aftermath of the consequences. By keeping Todd less dominant in the promotional cycle, they are signaling that this is a story about the entire family's survival, not just a defense of the father's actions. The shocking conclusion: a necessary exile. The shocking truth is that the pushing out of Todd Chrisley from the main spotlight is not a malicious act, but a calculated, heartbreaking act of self-preservation orchestrated by the women who love him most. For the sake of the brand, the old Todd Chrisley brand is no longer viable. The new Chrisley brand must be built on the back of the people who survived the storm: Savannah and Julie. Their stories are fresher, their vulnerability more authentic, and their voices hold more credibility with an audience weary of the old drama. For the sake of the family, by stepping back, Todd allows the focus to shift to the children and the marriage, the two things the Chrisleys repeatedly claim are the most important. It's an admission that the consequences of the past must be addressed by an evolution of the public dynamic. For Todd himself, this shift allows Todd a necessary space to focus on his personal trauma and his legal challenges, which include the rejected appeal of his conviction. He can pursue his fight for justice in the legal arena while the women of the family secure the family's future in the court of public opinion. In the end, this is a family choosing survival over status, trading the king's crown for a unified front led by the matriarch and the heir. This unexpected, dramatic turn is the new, high-engagement reality of the Chrisley family, and it confirms that in the wake of scandal, the ones who adapt, Savannah and Julie, are the ones who ultimately win the spotlight.